Hey everyone, this is Dylan bringing you a deck profile, Team Fox PPG. This is a Majin deck that I've been playing around with. This is a legitimate undefeated deck in smaller events. I've played it at 3 locals. I have 1 draw and no losses in all 3 events. So the reason why I say that is just to tell you, a lot of people, when they see off meta leaders like this, they think they maybe can't compete with the meta. They can maybe win small events with only bad decks on them. But I assure you, this deck can compete with the meta. I've done it in a few events. Very slept on. I'll get on to the profile. This leader, Majin Buu, my favorite leader. That's why I've been playing it. Not just this leader specifically, but Majin Buu is my favorite character of the show. When he swings, draws a card. He has an activate main. You can burst 3. You can discard an energy and then put a Majin Buu to your energy in rest mode. Very relevant. When you awaken, you untap 1, draw 1 at 4 life. Backside, you have to have sparking. Another thing about the leader, you can't remove send cards to warp from drop areas. So I don't know why they gave that to this leader. They nerfed him so he can't play Overrealm. Like, of all leaders that would need a nerf, it's this one. You don't gotta hit Mecha, but you gotta hit this guy. Seems odd that they power corrupt him, but he has that ability. He has Sparking 7. When he swings, draw a card. Already takes you plus 5k. So something to be conscious about is if you don't have Sparking, you don't draw. You typically can easily make sure you always have Sparking, but you just need to be conscious of it. But he is a 20k on swing because he gets the 5k. So he adds a little bit more pressure than most leaders. Activated main is once per turn. You get the same ability at the front. You can discard an energy and put a Buu to your energy in rest mode. Except you don't have to burst. So basically with this deck, you're going to burst just enough to get pieces you need in your drop. Make sure you have Sparking. And then you're going to stop bursting. I'll give a prelude. The one loss that I had, I decked out because I burst too much. We just got Majin tokens because we're going to actually play them in this deck. Also, Child's Army tokens. We're going to play them in this deck. This actually put in a lot of work for me in my finals match of the last event, and I guess I'll tell you why. So, we're going to go into some of the Buus we run. We're going to run the 1-drop from Evolution Booster. It's just a 1-drop cantrip. You play a draw card. But then it has an activated main. You could pay 3 blue. All your energy has to be mono blue. And what you do is you take a 7-drop from your energy and you play it, and then this goes to your energy in rest mode. And you can also discard a Gohan from your deck. Okay, that's going to be relevant because we're going to need to put it under the 7-drop when we get there. So the 7-drop that you're going to target is this one, and he actually has multiple purposes in the deck that I'll get into. He's a 7-drop, triple strike. When it's played from your energy area, you choose a battle card in your drop area and place it underneath him. So you choose the Gohan that you pitch. And when he swings, if he has a Gohan underneath him, which he should if you play him with the effect, you're going to put the Gohan underneath. You're going to take a battle card on your opponent's side of the board of any level, not ignoring barrier, place it underneath him, and then he'll restand. So it's almost like he's dual attack, triple strike, 25k. Not necessarily dual attack, but he gets to restand. And eating the battle card, super relevant. So like things like the 5-drop Vegeta, that when it leaves the field by skill, you crit a life to your opponent. This goes under the same ruling of when you take it, you're the master of the skill. So if you take it, they crit the life. Also with Sin Shenron, like if you steal a card, it's on your side of the board. So it doesn't come up super often, but it's relevant. Another one out of the Evolution Boosters, the 3-drop. Sorry if it's a little dark. Kind of with my lighting, I had 2 options. I can make it a little darker, but if I take the filter off the light, it ends up having some glare. So I figured having a little darker was better than having all the glare on the cards. But you can let me know in the comments or tell me in person if you're one of the people that sees me at locals. This one, when it's discarded from your energy by leader skill, which it will be when you charge it, you put it into play, you search your deck for a 4-drop Gotenks and discard it, which will be this one. Activate main, you can pay 1. You can play a 4-drop Boo from your energy. It doesn't have to, actually not just 4-drop. It has to be prodigious absorption. I'll explain what that does in a second. You warp this, and then you take the top card of your deck and put it in your energy in rest mode. So you're going to discard this for lead effect, play it for free, pay 1, play this, send the Gotenks to drop. Okay. So the Gotenks, we hardly ever play them. We're going to discard them for the effects. 3 feels right. There have been a few times where it was the last one of my life, which was actually like the finals of the last term. It was the last life I had, so I couldn't play my third 4-drop, but I didn't need it. It would have been overkill to do it anyway. He's Deflect Barrier double strike. When he swings, if your opponent activates a counter, you can bounce 2 of their battle cards to their hand and untap 2 of your energy. Very rarely do I ever cast this guy, but if the game goes late and you know your opponent counters a lot, it actually can be relevant. So we play him as the target just because he does give us a big swinger if we need it. But normally he's just fodder for this guy. So we discard him with the 3-drop effect, and then when we play the 4-drop, he takes a battle card from the drop, puts it underneath him, and activate main once per turn. You can play a Majin token 15k. So this is really probably your strongest engine in the deck. The 7-drop package is okay, but it's susceptible to counterplays. Doesn't have Deflect Barrier. This at least has Barrier, and these get pesky. So in the last tournament, there were times where I maybe had 3, 4, 5 copies of this on board, and your opponent gets in a battle where they start swinging at them, especially if you have 2 or 3 4-drops on board and you can just make 2 or 3 a turn. Your opponent gets in a battle where they start swinging at your tokens, and it's really a losing battle if they do that, because they're using up all their swings to swing at your tokens, and that just leaves your leader safe. You don't have to pitch any resources to defend it. So in a way, it's like a pseudo defense. And these just add value, and they do have combo power. So like when you're going for game, if you have a bunch on the board, you can combo them off. But this is kind of like your main engine that's really going to put all your pressure and kind of win you the games. I do want to preface, I forgot to say, this is my best of 1 build. The last event I played it in was best of 1. I might make a video later if people want to see it to give you the sideboard tech and stuff like that. But I figured with some of the best of 1 events coming up, I would just leave this best of 1 and show you how it runs. It's not very different in best of 3. This is just a few tweaks. So this is the super combo we run. The main reason is it's Go On Adolescence. It goes under the 7 drops to trigger the effect. And it triggers on sparking. So on the lead front side, it bursts 3. So basically, you're pretty much always going to want to burst on your first 2 turns. The ability to swap the energy is optional. So you can burst and not swap it. So we're probably going to burst even if we don't need to swap the energy, like if we haven't seen our pieces yet. Because we want to have Sparking live by turn 2. So that way our super combos are up. And it's just 10k draw card, but it triggers the effect of the 7-drop once it's in drop. And usually by the time you would play that, you have 1 in drop off the burst or using it. Sensu Bean, been around since the first set. Pay 1, untap 2, get plus 5k for the turn. You'll see why we need the untapping energy in this deck, and then plus 5 is just always good against go wide decks. It gives us more defense. This is the one new card that it just makes the deck, or any blue deck, just so much more phenomenal. It's Galactic Buster. A lot of people just, it's got so much text they don't really understand how it triggers, but essentially you take a card with a combo cost of 1 that's blue. So we'll trigger this one, or a Bojack target a lot. So you combo this from energy and you draw a card. So already there, it's a free 10k draw. Really good. This goes in your energy in active mode, and at the end of the battle it switches to rest. So you're going to have to tap an energy at the end of the battle, but we're going to usually utilize it with 1 of 2 cards, which I'll show you. So typically you're going to tap that energy before this effect would tap it to get maximum value out of it. Another neat interaction is this goes to your energy after you use it, and then your 1 cost goes away. So that means is if you have multiple Galactic Busters live, you have to draw another 10k, or you don't have them in energy. But the neat interaction with Boo is because you can discard an energy and get a Boo from drop to energy. When you Galactic Buster, the very next turn, you can just put this 7-drop back in your energy, and now it's live for another Galactic Buster. It's a little interaction not a lot of people think about. but it actually ends up adding like a ton of value over the course of the game, making sure you have it. So the other one drop target we have is Bojack. What he does, he's dual attack, 20k. Cost 1, at the end of the battle, you can pay 2 energy and play him, and then bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards. So this just gives super value on defense. So the idea is if you have energy like this, right, and your opponent swings, you can Galactic Buster, take this from your energy, draw a card, put this to your energy, end a battle, you choose the order the effects to resolve. So you tap for this, play this. Now you tap an energy, but you're already tapped out. So you go from just 1 energy up to a 5k combo, draw a card, bottom deck your battle card, and a 20k dual attack. It's a ton of value. Galactic Busters are really good. If you like playing blue at all, make sure you have them. I feel like most blue decks you want to try to work it into your list. We have Dimension Magic. Part of the reason is we mill 6 by turn 2. Sparking's always live, and it's our main Self-Awakener. So what you're going to do is you're not going to swing with your cards early for the first 2 turns or so, let them swing at you, and then you're going to de-magic and use our other negate to Self-Awaken. Now, since this is a best of 1 list, we're going to main deck Koitskai's. Part of the reason is his ability says that you can't warp cards from drop areas, but remove from the game has been ruled that it's not the same as warp. It's a different zone. So we can remove from the game, and because we're bursting 3, there's a good chance that even at 2 of, this is always in our drop. And it's just nice to always have it available to filter dead cards or stop our opponent's battle card negates and things like that. It can go to the side in best of 3. Our locals typically plays a lot of decks that this is good against, King Piccolo, Mecha, things like that. So I main deck them. If your area doesn't have a lot of decks like that, it can be sideboarded. Same with this card. I main it for the best of 1. It could go to side in best of 3. A lot of people forget what this does. Is when you play this card, draw a card. I think it's from set 5. Cantrip, when you play a draw card, and during your turn, when your opponent plays a battle card, they take 1 card from their hand and place it at the bottom of their deck. So a neat thing about this is it's not once per turn. So when you play against things like Turles and stuff, if they forget about this and they put like 3-4 battle cards or like red-green decks that combo Nappas in the board, they bottom deck a bunch of cards. And the thing is, people just forget about this card, even after I've already done it. So like sometimes I'll trigger it in a game, and then they'll run into it again in the same game. They just forget about it. So 1-drop cantrips are good because a lot of the times you want to spend your energy just to get value. So when we swap this from drop, right, if we do the leader effect and we discard this, the boo that comes in, it comes in rest mode. So if we have this active, it's kind of like wasted value. So this and the other boo 1-drop, it lets you tap it, draw a card, play, and now it's just a really good value 1-drop in the deck. And it maximizes your usage of your energy. You don't want to pop your boos while they're active and then replace it with a tapped energy if you haven't spent it. The Unison we play is this. Now, part of this was just because I didn't own God Ceilings at the time when I built the deck. I ordered them online. They're still not here. They've been taking a long time. But I don't know if I'm even going to main them. Might put them to the side. But as you can see, like I said, my favorite character is Boo. So when I pulled the SPRs of these out of my packs, I definitely wanted to build something using Boo. So he's double strike, blocker. This has been played a lot of decks. Activate main +0, you draw 1 card. At the end of the turn, you switch him and energy to active mode. So you can tap out for this, and then you're going to have an energy live. And then you restance and blocks. The -1, you bottom deck a battle card when your opponent swings with a battle card. And it can be any battle card, not just the one they swing with. So he's just probably the most valued blue Unison in the game right now. You could argue maybe the 3-drop baby Unison, but this one is just killing the battle cards plus drawing plus untapping. It's an insane value card. You essentially can never really tap out once you have it on board. This plays our chilled army tokens. 2-drop negate, but it's free if you have 5 life or less. You can pay a life. You play a chilled army token, and it gains blocker for till the end of the turn, so it can stop 2 attacks. The reason why I said this put a lot of value is I actually played against one of my teammates, Juan, in the finals, and this was actually on board for like 2 turns, maybe 3. And since he was launch and he was 5-10K leader, I was actually swinging with this every turn, and it was actually putting in a lot of value. So you don't really use that for attacking, but it can be a 10K body, and it's a blocker, so it can essentially stop a second attack for the turn. We play Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. This is another card to utilize our energy off the Galactic Buster. So if we don't have the Bojack, or maybe it's just not the right time to play the Bojack, they don't have battle cards on board, so we do this, draw a card. This also lets you go from being tapped out to having 1 energy live. And then you tap this, draw another card, and these just give you super combo power. The only thing to be worried about this is like the 3-drop charges the top card of your deck to rest mode to energy. So it feels like at 3 of, I hit this card to my energy a lot. And it doesn't feel great. But you can always discard it out of your energy with leader effect and just get rid of it. So it's not too bad. We play this 5-drop 8. Again, it came in clutch in the finals. Opponent won. He tried to violent raise. I countered, stopped the counter, and bottom decked his Kai SCR. So this deck doesn't deal with a bunch of counterattacks super well. So we kind of need this to end of the turn. A lot of times we'll have a wide board. We'll have a bunch of ghost tokens, 4-drops, 7-drop, and a huge board. And if they keep doing topo and violent raise, it gets kind of obnoxious. So these just kind of give us those late game finisher push. So they go for the topo or whatever to think they're safe. You counter, and then you go in for game. It also, you really don't do it for the counter effect, but you can counterplay it, bounce a 7-drop or less, and then you bottom deck a battle card at any level, ignore a barrier, and draw a card. So really, we're going to use it for the counter effect, but it has the counterplay ability as well. And the last one is the Kai SCR. Reason is we don't have a ton of board clear outside of our Bojack and our baby. So this helps us white board, clear Unisons. One of the weaknesses of the deck is a lot of our boot chain doesn't have deflect and barrier. So many times they leave the Unison up, and if you warp it with the Kai, it protects your boot chain because now they're expecting to have God Sealing or Charismatic Villain live. One of my matches in the last tournament was against Turles, and he had the Unison in play, but he was tapped out, so he was expecting the dormant potential. But on like his last swing, I played Kai, and he couldn't do anything about it. And then before I swung, I tapped one for the Kai without even swinging, warped his Unison, and then dormant was dead. This one I think is just the best generic SCR. I don't own Baby Hatch. I would consider Baby Hatch if I had it. But this one is just put in so much work for me. I think I would keep it even if I had the Baby Hatch. And there's a list. Again, this is best of 1. If you want the best of 3 tech, you can message me. You can ask for it, and maybe I'll make another video with it. This deck is meta relevant. I played against a lot of meta decks in those tournaments that I won, and anybody who's been to our local area knows our scene has some good players in it, and we're in the Pinellas area. So I've played this against a lot of good decks, a lot of meta decks, and it's done well. I don't think it's like a top 3 deck in the meta, but if you want something you can win a small event, I might actually take this to an online regional and see if I can top with it. I would like to be the first person to top with this Boo Leader and put it on the map. I don't know though, because it's not that this deck is bad. It's that I think like playing some of the other decks I have, like maybe King Cold and Vegex, might just be stronger. So it's not necessarily like I think this deck is not good enough to do it. It's just there's just so much more broken stuff in the meta that I might play. But we'll see. If I get enough feedback, people want me to play Boo, I'm actually going to consider it. So if you want to give feedback, you want to see anything else in the videos I make for the team, let me know, and I'll put stuff out there that you guys like to see.